Hi guys. Happy Monday. So let me know when you sign on, and let me just move over here. Sorry, it's so bright. Um, okay, hope that's helpful. So welcome to the Eating Reset Challenge Week. So for the next 5 days, so today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will be talking about different ways to sort of reset your eating, right? And really explore and shift your relationship with food so that we're really diving into like all of those things that surround your eating, right? Your emotions and how they play into eating, tapping into your intuition while you're eating, learning about your environment and how that impacts how you're eating and digesting. Hey, Heather. So also we're going to be talking a little bit about how to really tap into those bodily cues and better understand cravings. That'll be later in the week. And then really kind of like how do we wrap this all together? So today I kind of wanted to start out talking about intuitive eating. And so this is really, I know I kind of defined this in the group, but this is really this sort of integration of emotion, being in touch with your body and your senses, really tapping into the mind-body connection, tapping into those gut feelings, and being able to use your own inner wisdom when you're trying to figure out what is nourishing for your body, what is healthy for your body, what is good for you, versus following a dietary dogma, right? So sometimes we get really stuck in these different diets or these different plans, and really, really beating ourselves up if we're not following them the right way, feeling really compelled to eat food that's on our like no list. And then how long do we follow that, right? Is it like forever? Do we follow it for a short period of time? And how does it change our relationship with food? And how does it change our ability to determine for ourselves when we're hungry, when we're full, what kind of food makes us feel good, what kind of food makes us feel crappy, right? And being able to like connect into our bodies to connect to those cues, to use your body as a feedback tool, to give you information on how it's going for you or not, right? I know for myself, man, I have a long history with doing different types of healing diets, and I think that there is a way for intuitive eating to merge nicely with also using food as medicine, so using food as healing. So I know that there's a lot of different dietary protocols that are meant to heal different systems of your body. But even within that, I think it's really, really important to keep that connection with your body, to keep that perspective that everything is individualized. So even though it may say this thing may function in this particular way, or you may feel this particular way, if you don't, that's important information, right? So even foods that are quote unquote healthy for you may not work in every person, right? And so if we're sort of forcing ourselves to eat these particular things and you're like, man, I always break out when I eat that, or always get indigestion, but I feel like I should and I have to, right? So then we're moving ourselves into more of this sort of dietary rules and rigidity versus moving back into connecting with our bodies and better understanding what works for us and what doesn't work for us, which can be kind of freeing in a way, right? So one of the days later this week, I forgot to mention that, we're going to be exploring a lot of our beliefs around eating, which I feel like it's a fascinating area, because if you've ever sort of just paused to notice what you tell yourself about food and about eating, it's really very interesting, because we tend to have our own internal monologue going, right? That's either critiquing our food choices, talking about what we should be doing, what we should not be doing, what foods are on the not okay list, what foods are on the okay list, when did we cheat, right? I have a cheat day, like what are we cheating on? The diet, ourselves, like I don't totally get that, right? So, but I understand how we can slip into this easily, right? I've totally been there, so I absolutely get it. But it is really important, I think, to allow ourselves to sink back into our bodies and be able to make those connections with all of your cues, right? When am I thirsty? When am I hungry? Is this food affecting my mood? How do I feel when I'm eating X, Y, and Z food? when I was having a whole bunch of health issues and my gut was a mess and I was super sick at one of my health low points, I had a good friend who had also previously struggled with a lot of health issues. She had a lot of gut issues. And she was just a really great sort of mentor and supporter as I was changing what I was eating, as I was just starting to understand the relationship between how I felt and the food that I ate and how food could be so healing, and just really learning that stuff. And I spent a lot of time with her, and we would be like out and about, and she would be like, I need protein, I need a little bit more protein. Or she would be like, oh, I kind of need something carb-ish now, or I'm feeling like, oh, I'm thirsty, I need this, and I remember being like, you know when you need protein? Like, wow, right? Like, it was just so fascinating to me, because I was like, I can't even imagine being that rooted and connected to my body and to these cues, these sort of subtle, nuanced cues that I just ignored, right, my whole life. Like, you know, when I sat at the dinner table at 5:30, it was 5:30 every night we ate, right? Whether you were hungry or not, you ate, because that was dinner time. So I feel like I started to ignore, right, even at a young age, I started to ignore my body's cues, right? Are you hungry? No. Well, you need to eat anyway, because this is the time that we've designated for eating. And I remember even thinking then, like, that feels kind of weird to me, right? But you do it because that's what you do as a compliant child, right? But I think that we go through so many years of getting disconnected from our body, but also disconnected from eating, right? We don't even know what foods are doing for us or not doing for us. We don't always notice how our beliefs impact what we're choosing, and how that food impacts our mood, how it impacts our whole our whole approach. Oh my gosh, Heather, that's amazing. I get it. Chocolate's in my drawer, so I totally understand that. So we are also going to talk a little bit about cravings at some point, which I think is going to be a really interesting discussion. I think that our body is always giving us messages, right? So to me, even when we're craving something healthy, unhealthy, right? It's a message from our body, right? Are we craving certain foods because we need particular things in our life? Do we need particular things psychologically? Are we super stressed and craving something? Also, certain nutrient deficiencies, certain nutrient profiles can cause us to crave certain types of food, which is really interesting, right? So I think using all of that as information, looking at everything that's coming into you as information, and using your body and your eating as little experiments, right? Well, I'm going to have a salad every day for lunch and see how I feel after that. Or I'm going to have vegetables and a meat and a fruit for lunch and see how I feel with that. You know, and being able to allow your body to give you feedback, right? You'll know, do I get tired after lunch? Do I feel run down? Am I hungry an hour later? Like, maybe there needs to be some adjustment, because what could be satiating and make me feel really invigorated may be very different than what the next person may experience. So being able to really understand that, you know, and we'll talk about this throughout the week too, about learning our own cues and what that prompts us to reach for, and being able to sort of create a pause so that it's not just an automatic behavior like stressed, need sugar, stress, need sugar. This is a thing I still struggle with. But being able to sort of acknowledge it and being able to say, what am I feeling right now? Am I stressed? Am I bored? Am I tired, hungry, thirsty? What is happening? So that you can label it, and using that as a way to better understand why you're reaching for what, and if there's another way to meet that need for yourself. So one of the things I just want to talk about around intuitive eating is, yes, certainly responding to your bodily cues, but then also really being able to trust your body, which I think is such an important thing, because I think we start to label certain parts of our body, we don't accept certain parts of ourselves, we don't trust our own inner cues. So really being able to to start to trust and accept your body, your mind, your whole totality of who you are, and knowing that it's working for your best good, right? So that we want to be able to tap into that inner wisdom, tap into that intuitive approach, and let you be the one who's sort of driving your choices and driving the bus. So let me know kind of how you guys are feeling about this. This is kind of a basic intro. So like, write in the comments things that you're thinking. If you've heard about intuitive eating before, I want to give you just two like really fast, practical things. I guess they're not fast, but two practical things to put into your life. One is to be able to start noticing your bodily cues. So like, am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Do I feel full? Do I feel hungry? Do I feel kind of depleted? Do I feel tired? What are all of those things that are happening? So starting to notice that and starting to label that. And the second thing is to start noticing how food affects you. What do you feel like if you don't eat for 3 or 4 hours? Do you feel invigorated, or are you more on the tired end? Do you feel like your mood tanks? What do you feel like when you eat like a higher carb meal versus a lower carb meal? No judgment either way, right? We're just talking about how we're feeling. We're just noticing, right? How do we feel when we eat something that's super sugary versus something that's has a balance of fats and proteins? How do we feel when we eat a lot of protein? Maybe not great, maybe really great, but really, really starting to acknowledge and notice what you're eating and how it makes you feel. It could be mood, it could be GI issues, it could be skin issues, it could be energy level. Energy level is a big one. So starting to notice this and just allowing yourself to go into it like with a distance and from a place of curiosity. No judgment, right? Just, I wonder how I'm going to feel after this, or I wonder how this might help me feel, or what do I feel like my body needs at this moment? So we're going to talk about that and how to sort of better understand those cues. But if you guys are interested in more about intuitive eating, there's some research articles, there's some books that are cool, but I like the Intuitive Eating Workbook. I know this is going to be backwards for you guys, but the Intuitive Eating Workbook, I just ordered this on Amazon. It's really, really great. It walks you through the whole sort of system on your own for how to incorporate intuitive eating into your life, how to get started. It's super user-friendly, and it really explains their approach well, which is cool. I think that it could take it one step farther even, since I focus on working a lot with people who have chronic health issues who are not, they're trying to use food as medicine to heal certain parts of their body. So I think that there should, in my opinion, it would be interesting also too to sort of integrate that, because I think that there is a way for sure to do that. But this book is a great start. So always something great to pick up. But let me know how things resonate with you that I'm talking about today. If you have ever tried something like intuitive eating before, if you feel really disconnected from your body, and you're not even sure how you feel. I cannot even tell you how many times people say to me, oh, X, Y, and Z food doesn't affect me at all. And then when they take it out of their diet or they put it back in for a certain period of time, they're like, whoa, oh my God, my mood is so different with or without this, whatever this thing may be, just as an example. We get really, really disconnected from things. So just start noticing, right? Just start being aware. And throughout this week, just take this as an opportunity to really give yourself that, that freedom. So let me know what you guys think, and I will talk with you tomorrow. Have a good night.